Section 9.1 starts with some definitions for your gold sheet. The two words that we're going to focus on in this section are hypotenuse and leg, and they both have to do with right triangles. So let's draw a sketch of a right triangle. Since it's a right triangle, it does have a right angle in it. The two sides that form the right angle, or the two sides that are touching the right angle, those are called legs. The side across from the right angle is the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is always the largest side. With right triangles and right triangles only, there's a theorem that works, and it's the Pythagorean theorem. The theorem that you may have seen, and the way a lot of people write it usually, is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I don't particularly like that way to write the theorem because it doesn't tell us what a and b and c are. The way that I like to write the theorem is leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. That way it's really, really clear that it's the hypotenuse that's the side that needs to be all by itself in the theorem. That you need to copy over onto both your vocab sheet and your conjecture sheet. And then we'll look at a couple examples quick. We can put these on the back of your gold sheet. The first one, how high up on the wall will a 20-foot ladder touch if the foot of the ladder is placed 5 feet from the wall? It's always a good idea with these to make a picture. So here's my wall, and here's the ladder that's being placed up against the side of the wall. For all of these math problems, we're going to assume that the building is perfectly straight up and down, and that the ground is perfectly flat. So the ladder and the wall and the ground form a right triangle. It is a 20-foot ladder, and the foot of the ladder is 5 feet away from the wall. The question is asking how high up on the wall will it reach? Since it is a right triangle, we can use the Pythagorean theorem, or leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. The two sides that are legs, or touching the right angle, are the 5 and the x. And the hypotenuse, the side that's across from the right angle, is 20. Using a calculator or just doing it in your head, 5 squared is 25, and 20 squared is 400. So to solve for x, we need to do 2 steps. First thing, we need to subtract 25 from both sides. And then to undo something squared, we need to square root both sides. The square root of 375 is not a very nice number. It's a decimal. So I'm going to put a squiggly equals to say that it's approximately equal to 19.4 when you round. All of our answers need labels, and since the units in this question were feet, we'll put feet on our answer. The ladder would reach 19.4 feet up the side of the wall. Second example, find the area of the rectangular rug if the width is 12 and the diagonal is 20. So I can make a picture of a rectangular rug. The width is 12. You can label the 12 on either side. It doesn't matter which one you talk about as the width. I'm going to label it over here. And the diagonal is 20. Find the area of the rug. So for my final answer, I'm going to be looking for area of the rectangle. We can remember from the last chapter that the area equals base times height, and we said that base and height and length and width, they're all sort of the same. So I know what the width of the rug is. The width is 12, but I need to figure out what the length is, or what the base is, depending on how you call it. I need to know how long is that side. Since rectangles have 90 degrees, that diagonal forms a right triangle, so we can use the Pythagorean theorem to figure out the length. Leg squared plus leg squared equals hypotenuse squared. So 12 squared plus L squared equals 20 squared. And either in your head or on your calculator, type those numbers in, and we'll solve the equation for L. This time when we take the square root of both sides, we do get a nice number. The square root of 256 is exactly 16. So the length of the rectangle is 16 feet. If I go back and reread the question, find the area of the rug, I'm not done yet. I've only found the length. To finish the question up, I need to plug that 16 in for length in my area formula and figure out the area by doing length times width, or base times height, whatever you want to call it. 16 times 12 is 192. Since it's an area, the units are feet squared.